Hey, this is James from All Hail Internal Combustion. We're back with our D16 something something Honda engine from the Junkyard that's going to be going into a 1998 Honda Civic two-door. Um, it's been sitting in this position for a couple days now while we've been waiting for parts to come in, so all the oil inside the motor has had a chance to run down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the pan off of this and look to see if there's anything that I should be worried about. Alright, so I pulled you guys off the tripod, and we're just taking a look on the inside of this motor. I am expecting to see a little bit of water because we did take it and pressure wash the outside of this motor, and no matter what you do, you always get some on the inside. And if you look down there in the sump, I don't see any debris, but I do see some disgusting oil because we've already figured that whoever had this car before was not a big fan of oil changes. So you can see just there's a sheet of muck running around in there. But I'm not seeing any parts of pistons or large chunks of gasket or anything like that. So let's go over and take a look up in the bottom of the engine and see how that looks. We're taking a look up inside the engine block on this Junkyard motor and looking for anything that would be obvious that could cause us a problem at some point. And I'm not really seeing anything. One thing I do like about aluminum blocks, the oil drain back seems to not grab onto junk as much as a cast iron block. So we're also taking a look up in there to make sure we don't have any, broken piston skirts, anything missing. And we'll go ahead and rotate this over again. So we can bring these pistons up. And now we're looking at number 1 and number 4. It appears the piston is all in place. There was a line in there that looked like a crack, but it's actually not a crack because I can wipe it away with my finger, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, so everything under here looks pretty good. We are going to be pulling the oil pump off of it and resealing behind the oil pump, so that'll give us a chance to clean the pickup tube as well. And we are also going to be pulling this rear seal off of here, putting a new seal in it, and getting that all sealed back up, because there's no point in putting an engine in a car and skipping on the seals and then having to come back and redo all your work. We like to just button things up and be done with it, especially on customer vehicles. So this all looks pretty good to me, so I think we're going to go ahead and pull the oil pump and the rear seal off and go from there.
Alright, we're here working on a Honda oil pump again. We're taking the front main seal out. This was leaking pretty good. It commonly does after 100,000 miles or so. But you want to take your chisel, and there's a lip down in there that you just want to go back and forth and split it until it pops out. So real easy. It'll pop out. You can see it's all good there. We'll clean this surface up real good. Now you don't want to spray a whole lot of solvent in here, but you want to try to dry and clean this up, because when we put the new one in, we're going to put some gasket sealer on there, some Honda Bond. So now we're going to compare our suspicious looking seals here to see which one would work. That one looks way too small. That is correct. Here's the other one. Looks a little closer. Fits a little snugger.
We should probably also check it on the crankshaft to make double check that our ID is okay.
Yeah, so let's just go over to crank here.
Let's let's take a walk over to the messy shop and not trip over nothing.
Whew. So a day's journey later, we're at the crankshaft. Yep, that feels good. That'll keep that pesky oil from getting out of there.
And there is a wear mark on the crankshaft.
We're gonna polish this up though.
Yeah, we're gonna clean that up, but I don't know if Hondas have the availability to put like a repair sleeve on there or not.
They do. Yeah, they sell the kits with the repair sleeves.
But we're gonna go ahead and clean this oil pump up and put the new seal in there.
Alright, so when you're putting your front main seal in there, make sure that you're putting gasket sealer. Nice even coat all the way around. You don't want too much. Nice thin coat. Nice and consistent and even. You want to make sure your surface in here is clean and oil free. So I'll wipe it out real good with a paper towel. Just set that in there.
Yeah, don't use that.
Man. So now we're nice and even with the edge. We'll get a socket to fit that nice and even and then push that down in there. So let's take it over to the socket drawer. Random socket, random socket. Oh, maybe just a tad smaller. That was a pretty good first pick. Oh, too small. 1.25 inches. That'll work. So, it can't sit out on the housing, but it can't sit too far towards the center. So that's in there all the way. You don't want to drive this thing home like crazy. Because remember, it sits up against that oil pump housing. You can see that it's seated all the way down in there. See the orange on the edge in there. See that? And we got gasket sealer coming off here. I would suggest when you do this, you let this stuff sit for a while. Follow the instructions. Anytime that I've done that with gasket sealer, it usually doesn't go wrong. So we'll get this installed back on the motor. We got to get this O-ring replaced too. Gee, I almost forgot about that. This O-ring's real important. So like if you're getting a Honda motor from the junkyard, it's super important that you check your timing belt and make sure that that's in good shape, even if they told you. Yeah, this thing's really stuck in there. Holy crap. Woo! I think it's coming out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to lose oil pressure. So there's the replacement O-ring for it, but we're going to make sure this area is clean. Make sure I didn't accidentally scratch that surface. And before we put that in, we're going to clean this gasket surface here. Check the mating surface over on the block as well. And make sure this is clean because this will get a thin coat of Honda Bond as well. Honda Bond HT. And we'll just get that O-ring in there and clean this up. So here we are at the rear main seal. This one's a little bit trickier. It's bigger. But this housing is not nearly as strong. You can't be beating the hell out of it. So I start by laying it flat because there's a small amount of room until the seal actually gets to the edge of the housing. So I like to get it moving. There it went. Alright, see now we're flush. You're going to basically support here and here. Gotta make sure that you're not holding the seal up at all. Back and forth. I would suggest not to hit here or here. If you can try to walk it out just like I did and only hit in this area, that would be best because this is your weak spot and this is your weak spot. So just keep that in mind. So just like the front main seal, We're going to clean this out real good, but we don't have to worry about solvents. So we'll clean this back gasket surface real good. Get this seal put in there with some Honda Bond. We're going to do this back. We're going to do the front. We're going to attach those and get them torqued in. Stay tuned. Now you might be wondering, how the hell do you get this seal in here? And if you're not, then you just fast forward and whatever. Forget about you. Anyway, you put this in there. You're going to use the old seal. Now you could use a 2x4 to get it down into place. Probably start it off with that. Not a bad idea. Make sure it's going in there even. Looks pretty good. And we're about all the way down. So flop it around. Because gotta go down a little bit more. It's just in that spot. Yep, it's all the way down. You can see where it's kissing everything on the walls there. Take that extra out. That's good though. I like to see a little extra gasket sealing on the inside there. I know I put enough. And there's the rear main seal. So I'm going to get my bolts cleaned and my nuts cleaned. I got my gasket surfaces cleaned. So we're moving on to pulling the motor out of the car. But that pretty much finalizes this part. I got the oil pump pickup tube set up. That's gasketed in and torqued down. Same with the oil pump housing and the rear main seal housing. The oil pan that came on this engine, I don't know what the hell somebody did. I can't get the gasket off the pan. I don't know if they epoxied it on there or something, but it's ignorant. The oil pan on this motor, the owner supposedly took it off, cleaned it, put it back on. So
He probably put it on with concrete or something.
hopefully he didn't attach the oil pan gasket permanently to the oil pan, and we'll be able to use that oil pan. So we're waiting to put the oil pan on that until we figure out what else is going on. We still got to do the cam seal and stuff like that, but we'll do that as we're about to drop it in. So this motor, in the meantime, we're going to pull this out, pop it on the stand, but that'll be the next video.